Finally here. I'm very excited. I've been waiting all day for this. Let's go ahead and get on into Exodus. Chapter 1. We are not doing this. No, I want him to stop crying. Exodus 1. Alright. Super annoying sip sound. Alright, the Israelites in Egypt. These are the names of the sons of Israel. That's Jacob, who moved to Egypt with their father, each with his family. So Reuben, Simeon, Levi, Judah, Issachar, Zebulun, Benjamin, Dan, Naphtali, Gad, and Asher. In all, Jacob had 70 descendants in Egypt, including Joseph, who was already there. In time, Joseph and all of his brothers died, ending that entire generation. But their descendants, the Israelites, had many children and grandchildren. In fact, they multiplied so greatly that they became extremely powerful and they filled the land. Little boy. Alright, I guess you can go. Sorry, buddy. Eventually, a new king came to power in Egypt who knew nothing about Joseph or what he had done. He said to his people, "Look, the people of Israel now outnumber us and are stronger than we are. We must make a plan to keep them from growing even more. If we don't, and if war breaks out, they're going to join our enemies and fight against us. Then they're going to escape the country." So the Egyptians made the Israelites their slaves. Smart idea. It's a great way to approach that. They appointed brutal slave drivers over them, hoping to wear them down in crushing labor. They forced them to build the cities of Pithom and Ramses as supply centers for the king. But the more the Egyptians oppressed them, the more the Israelites multiplied and spread. Something's not working. The more they alarmed the Egyptians became. So the Egyptians worked the people of Israel without mercy. They made their lives bitter, forcing them to mix mortar with bricks and do all the work in the fields. They were ruthless in their demands. And then Pharaoh, the king of Egypt, gave his order to the Hebrew midwives, Shiphrah and Puah. "When you help the Hebrew woman you have to give birth, watch as they deliver. If the baby's a boy, kill him. If it's a girl, let her be." But because the midwives fear God, they refused to obey the king's orders. They allowed the boys to live too. Smart midwife. So the king of Egypt called for the midwives. "What's going on? Why are you guys not doing the thing I said to do about killing the babies?" "The Hebrew women are not like Egyptian women," the midwives replied. "They're more vigorous and have babies so quickly we can't get to them in time." So God was good to the midwives, and the Israelites continued to multiply, growing more and more powerful. Because the midwives feared God, He gave them families of their own. Then Pharaoh gave his order to all his people: "Throw away every newborn Hebrew." Alright, so throw every newborn baby boy into the Nile. So I see this is where that all started. I know there's more of this later. It's not much different than America today, though, if you think about it. Murdering millions of children. The birth of Moses. About this time, a man and woman from the tribe of Levi got married. The woman became pregnant and she gave birth to a son. She saw that he was a special boy, and she kept him hidden for a couple months. Smart. But when she could no longer hide him, she got a basket made of papyrus reeds and waterproofed it in tar and pitch. "Oh, are we getting to Moses?" "Yeah, the birth of Moses. I didn't know it was going to be this quick." Alright, cool. So it's basically, we're not going to try to recap, but yeah, Jacob, Joseph, Moses. Alright, anyway, I've read about this one. Spoiler alert. But when she could no longer hide him, she got a basket made of papyrus reeds and waterproofed it. She saw that he was a special baby. I wonder what was special about him. Okay. The baby's sister then stood at a distance watching to see what would happen. Soon, Pharaoh's daughter came down to bathe in the river, and her attendants walked along the riverbank. When the princess saw the basket among the reeds, she sent the maids to grab it for her. When she opened it and saw the baby, he was crying. She felt sorry for him. "This must be one of the Hebrew children," she said. And then the baby's sister approached the princess. "Should I go and find one of the Hebrew women and nurse the baby for you?" she asked. "Yes, do," the princess replied. So the girl went and called the baby's mother. "Take this baby and nurse him for me," the princess told the baby's mom. "I will pay you for your help." So the woman took the baby home and nursed him. Solid. Later, when the boy was older, his mother brought him back to Pharaoh's daughter, who adopted him as her own. The princess named him Moses, for she explained, "I lifted him out of the water." Moses sounds like a Hebrew term that means to lift out. Okay. Many years later, when Moses had grown up, he went out to visit his own people, the Hebrews, and he saw how hard they were forced to work. During his visit, he saw an Egyptian beating one of his fellow Hebrews. After looking in all directions to make sure no one was looking, he murdered that guy. The next day, when Moses went to visit his people again, he saw two Hebrew men fighting. "Why are you beating up your friend?" Moses said, the one who started the fight. The man said, "Who appointed you to be prince and judge? Are you going to kill me as you did that Egyptian yesterday?" And then Moses got nervous. "Oh, shit, everybody knows what I did." Sure enough, Pharaoh heard what happened when he tried to kill Moses. But Moses ran away and lived in the land of Midian. When Moses arrived at Midian, he sat down beside a well. And now the priest of Midian had 7 daughters who came as usual to draw water from there. But some other shepherds came and chased them away. So Moses jumped and rescued the girls from the shepherds, and then he drew waters for their flocks. When the girls returned to Rawu, their father asked, "Why are you back so soon today?" "An Egyptian rescued us from the shepherds," they said. "And then he drew water for us, and he watered our flocks." "Well, then where is he?" the father asked. "Why did you leave him there? Invite him to come and eat with us." Moses accepted the invitation, and he settled there with them. In time, Raul gave Moses his daughter Zipporah to be his wife. Later she gave birth to a son, and Moses named him Gershom, for he explained, "I have been a foreigner in a foreign land. Years passed, and the king of Egypt died, but the Israelites continued to groan under their burden of slavery. They cried out for help, and their cry rose up to God. God, hearing their groaning, he remembered his covenant and promised to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and he looked down on the people of Israel, and he knew it was time to act. So the people prayed. And then God looked back to the promise he had made to those guys. Don't mind me. I'm just searching for some sort of intercession. Exodus 3. Moses and the burning bush. One day Moses was tending the flock of his father-in-law, the priest of Midian, and then he led the flock far into the wilderness, and he came to Sinai, to the mountain of God. There the angel of the Lord appeared to him in a blazing fire from the middle of a bush. Moses was shocked. Though the bush was on fire, it didn't burn up. This is wild, he thought to himself. What the hell's going on with this bush? I need to go check it out. So when the Lord saw Moses coming, God called him from the middle of the bush, and he's like, "Hey, bro." Moses says, "It's me. Hey, don't come any closer," the Lord said. "Take off your sandals, because you're standing on holy ground." "It's me. It's God." When Moses heard this, he covered his face because he was afraid to look at him. And the Lord told him, I have seen that the impression of my people in Egypt. I've heard their cries of distress because they're harsh slave drivers. Yeah, I'm aware of their suffering. So I've come down to rescue them from the power of the Egyptians that led them out of Egypt to their own fertile, and to lead them out of Egypt to their own fertile and spacious land. It is a land flowing with milk and honey. The land where the Canaanites, Hittites, Amorites, Perizzites, Hivites, and Jebusites now live. Look, the cry of the people of Israel has reached me, and I have seen how harshly the Egyptians abused them. And now go, for I am sending you to Pharaoh. You must lead my people out of Israel. But Moses protested, What am I supposed to do? Who am I to lead the people out of Israel? God said, Don't trip, I'm with you. And this is your sign that I'm the one who sent with you. You brought your people out of Egypt, and you will worship God at this very mountain. But Moses said, If I go to Israel and tell them the God of your ancestors has sent me, they will ask me, What's his name? What should I tell them? God said, This is it. I am who I am. Say that to the people of Israel. I am has sent me to you. God also said to Moses, Say this to the people of Israel. Yahweh, the God of your ancestors, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, the God of Jacob, has sent me to you. This is my eternal name, my name for all generations. Now that's sick. Now go and call together the elders of Israel and tell them, Yahweh, the God of your ancestors, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, has appeared to me. He told me, I've been watching you closely, and I see how the Egyptians are treating you. I've promised to rescue you from the oppression of Egypt. I will lead you to a land flowing with milk and honey, the land where yada yada lives. The elders of Israel will accept your message, and then you and the elders must go to the king of Egypt and tell him, God sent us. So please, let's take a 3-day journey into the wilderness and offer sacrifices to the Lord our God. But I know the king of Egypt will not let you go unless a mighty hand forces him. So I will raise my hand and strike the Egyptians, performing all kinds of miracles among them. And then at last he's going to let you go. And I will cause the Egyptians to look favorably on you, and they're going to give you gifts when you go, so you won't leave empty-handed. Every Israelite woman will ask for articles of silver and gold and fine clothing from her Egyptian neighbors and the foreign women in their houses. You're going to dress your sons and daughters with these and strip the Egyptians of their wealth. Okay, so it's kind of like a preview as to what's going to come, I guess. Exodus 4, sign of the Lord's Prayer. But for some reason, Moses is not just doing it. What if they won't believe me or listen to me? What if they say, Bro, you're talking to a bush? The Lord asked them, What's in your hand? A shepherd's staff, Moses replied. Throw it on the ground. So Moses threw it down, and it turned into a snake. Moses freaked out, and the Lord said, Reach out and grab its tail. He did that, turned back into a staff. Anyway, the Lord said, Okay, perform this sign, and they're going to believe that I'm the Lord, the God of their ancestors, and God of Abraham, God of Isaac, God of Jacob, really appeared to you. Then the Lord said to Moses, Now put your hands inside your cloak. So Moses put his hand inside his cloak, and when he took it out again, his hand was white as snow, with a severe skin disease. Now put it back in, the Lord said. So Moses put his hand back in, and we took it out. It was as healthy as the rest of his body. The Lord said to Moses, If you don't believe me, you're not convinced. If they don't believe you and they're not convinced by the first sign, they will be convinced by the second sign. And if they don't believe you or listen to you after these 2 signs, then take some water from the Nile River and pour it on the dry ground. And when you do, the water is going to turn to blood. But Moses begged, "Look, I'm not very good with words. I never really have been. And even though you've spoken to me, I still get tongue-tied and my words get tangled." So, like, there's a lot here. I know this isn't a Bible study. This is a Bible reaction. But, like, this is an excellent thing. Like, it seems as though God's, like, not sure what's going to happen. What's that about? He's limiting his power for us. It's pretty cool. Free will type stuff. If God real, then why bad thing happen kind of stuff. Anyway, Moses is retarded and he keeps trying to push back. The Lord said to Moses, "Who makes a person's mouth? And who decides whether people speak or they don't speak, whether they hear or they don't hear, whether they see or they don't see? Is it not me? Now go, I will be with you as you speak, and I will instruct you as to what to say." But Moses, again, Moses pleaded to the bush that he's talking to, by the way. "Please, just send anybody else." And then the Lord got annoyed, obviously. "All right," he goes, "what about your brother Aaron, the Levite? I know he speaks well. And look, he's on his way to meet you now. He'll be delighted to see you. Talk to him and put the words in his mouth. I will be with both of you as you speak, and I will instruct you on both what to do. Aaron will be your spokesperson to the people. He will be your mouthpiece, and you will stand in the place of God for him, telling him what to say. And take your shepherd's staff with you and use it to perform the miraculous signs I've shown you." So I love how he just, like, got God to find... God was like, "Look, this guy is so stupid that I'm not going to be able to convince him. So just bring your brother." Moses returns to Egypt. Jesus. So Moses went back home to Jethro, his father-in-law. "Please let me return my relatives to Egypt," Moses said. I don't even know if they're still alive. Oh, okay, wait. So Moses went back home to Jethro. "Please let me return my relatives to Egypt." Moses said, "I don't even know if they're still alive." "Go in peace," Jethro replied. Before Moses left Midian, the Lord said to him, "Return to Egypt, for all those who wanted to kill you have died." So Moses took his wife and sons, and he put them on a donkey, and he headed back to Egypt. In his hand he carried the staff of God. And the Lord told Moses, "When you get back there, go to Pharaoh and perform all the shit I told you to do. But I'm going to harden his heart. He's going to let the people, so you refuse to let the people go. And then you're going to tell him, this is what the Lord says." What is that about? "I will harden his heart, so he refuses to let the people go." What? What are you doing? What are you doing, God? "I command you, let my son go." Okay, then you're going to tell him, after I make him not listen to you, what you're going to do, it's like, okay, hear me out. He's like directing the scene. So what you're going to say, your line is, "The Israel is my firstborn son. I commanded you to let my son go so he can worship me, but since you've refused, I'm not going to kill your firstborn son." On the way to Egypt, a place where Moses and his family had stopped for the night, the Lord confronted him and was about to kill him. But Moses, his wife Zipporah, took out a flint knife and circumcised her son. What? On the way to Egypt, at a place where Moses and his family had stopped for the night, the Lord confronted him and was about to kill him. But Moses' wife Zipporah took a flint knife and circumcised her son. She touched his feet with the foreskin and said, "Now you are the bridegroom of blood to me." When she said a bridegroom of blood, she was referring to the circumcision. After that, the Lord left them alone. Now that the Lord had said to Aaron, "Go out into the wilderness to meet Moses." So Aaron went, no questions asked, met Moses at the mountain of God. He embraced him. Moses told him everything that God had said to say, told him about the miracles. Then Moses and Aaron returned to Egypt and called the elders of Israel together. Aaron told them everything the Lord had told Moses, and Moses performed the miracles as they watched. Then the people of Israel were convinced that the Lord had sent Moses and Aaron. When they heard that the Lord was concerned about them and had seen their misery, they bowed down and they worshipped. Exodus 5. So Moses, Momo, and Aaron speak to Pharaoh. This is the presentation to Israel's leaders. Moses and Aaron went and spoke to Pharaoh. They told him, "This is what God says. Let my people go, so they may hold a festival in my honor in the woods." "Is that so?" retorted Pharaoh. "And who is the Lord? Why should I listen to him and let Israel go? I don't know this Lord, and I will not let Israel go." But Aaron and Moses persisted. "The God of the Hebrews has met with us," they declared. "So let us take a 3-day journey into the wilderness so we can offer sacrifices to God. And if we don't, he's going to kill us with plague or with a sword." Pharaoh replied, "Look, why are you guys distracting people from their work? Get back to work. Look, there are many of your people in the land, and they're stopping them from their work, making bricks without straw." The same day that Pharaoh sent this order to the Egyptian slave drivers and the Israelite foremen, "Do not supply any more straw for making brick. Make the people get it themselves." but still require them to make the same amount of bricks as before. Don't reduce the quota. They're lazy, and that's why they're crying out to let us go and make sacrifices to God. Load them down with more work, make them sweat, and that's going to teach them not to listen to lies. So the slave drivers and the foreman went out and told the people, this is what Pharaoh says. Go and get it yourselves, find it wherever you can, but you must produce just as many bricks as before. So the people scattered throughout the land of Egypt and searched for stubble to use as straw. Meanwhile, the Egyptian slave drivers continued to push hard. Meet your daily quota of bricks just as you did when we provided you with straw. And that's what they demanded. And then they whipped the Israelite foremen that they had put in charge of the work crews. Why haven't you met your quotas, either yesterday or today? So the Israelite foreman went to Pharaoh and they begged, please don't treat your servants like this. We were given no straw, but the slave drivers still demand to make bricks. We are being beaten, but it isn't our fault. Your own people are to blame. But Pharaoh shouted, you're just lazy, lazy, lazy. Well, that's what you're saying. It sounds like my old boss. Let us go, offer sacrifices to the Lord. Now get back to work. No straw will be given you, but you must still produce the full quota of bricks. The Israelite foremen could see that they were in serious trouble, and they were told, you must not reduce the number of bricks. So they left Pharaoh's court, and they confronted Moses and Aaron, who were waiting for him outside. The foreman said to them, may the Lord God judge and punish you for making us stink before Pharaoh and his officials. You have put a sword to their hands, and they'll an excuse to kill us. And then Moses went back to the Lord, and he protested, why have you brought all this trouble on your own people, Lord? Why did you send me? Ever since I came to Pharaoh as your spokesperson, he's been even more brutal to your people, and you've done nothing to rescue them. I don't want to stop. I want to keep going. Man, we have 146 hours left. All right, well. I mean, that was great. So far, way more depth. Remember what I said about Genesis? There wasn't a whole lot of depth until we got to Jacob. Or at least, yeah, I guess Jacob. This is a lot more depth. I'm liking it. Yeah, what's up with not listening to the bush? Anyway, okay, let me just chill. Not a Bible study. I'll see you guys tomorrow.